In the annals of music history, few rivalries are as enduring or as complex as that of Gladys Knight and Diana Ross. Both women emerged as icons from the legendary Motown label, but for over 37 years, they found themselves locked in a bitter feud that would become one of the longest running in the music industry. The tale of their rivalry is not just a story about two divas clashing for fame and recognition, it's also a reflection of the intense pressures faced by women in the music business and the competitive nature of the industry itself. Gladys Knight, often referred to as the Empress of Soul, and Diana Ross, the Supreme Diva, both blazed trails in their respective genres. They captivated audiences with their talent, beauty, and star power, yet behind the scenes, a simmering tension persisted for decades. Despite their extraordinary success, it wasn't until 2005 that they finally laid their differences to rest. But what caused this legendary feud to last so long? And why did it take nearly 4 decades to resolve? The origins of the feud. Motown's competitive pressure. The feud between Gladys Knight and Diana Ross dates back to the early 1960s when both women were signed to Motown Records. The label, founded by Berry Gordy, was the launching pad for some of the biggest names in soul, R&B, and pop music. At the time, both Gladys Knight the Pips and Diana Ross the Supremes were striving to establish themselves as top acts within the highly competitive Motown ecosystem. According to Gladys Knight, much of the tension stemmed from the intense competition within the label. In her memoir, she revealed that Diana Ross's success often came at the expense of others, including herself. Diana had always been the golden girl of Motown, Gladys recounted, noting that Berry Gordy had a particular fondness for Diana, which led to other artists feeling sidelined. Motown was not just a music label, it was an empire. The battle for the spotlight was fierce, and Diana Ross, who was famously ambitious, had a reputation for being difficult to work with. Rumors swirled that Ross would do whatever it took to stay in the spotlight, sometimes at the cost of her peers. Gladys Knight, on the other hand, was known for her down-to-earth demeanor, which made their personalities clash even more. The Supremes versus the Pips, a battle for supremacy. The rivalry between Gladys Knight and Diana Ross became more visible as both of their groups, Gladys Knight the Pips and Diana Ross the Supremes, achieved commercial success. While the Supremes had chart-topping hits and were Motown's most successful act, Gladys Knight the Pips were gaining momentum with their soulful sound. The two groups were often compared in the media, and the competition for chart dominance was relentless. According to Knight, one of the major turning points in their relationship occurred when both groups were scheduled to perform on a popular television show. At the last minute, the Pips' performance was cut, allegedly due to Diana Ross's insistence that the Supremes should be the only act on the bill. Whether or not this story is true, the incident further fueled the tension between the two women. The rivalry wasn't just about music, it was also about who would reign supreme in the eyes of the public and, more importantly, Berry Gordy. Gladys felt that Diana's star was continually rising, often at the expense of other Motown acts. She believed that the label put all its resources behind Diana, leaving artists like herself to fight for scraps. The personal feud. Beyond the music, as the years went on, the professional rivalry between the two women evolved into something much more personal. It wasn't just about who had the most chart-topping hits or who could command the stage, it was about respect. According to Gladys Knight, one of the primary reasons for the feud was that she felt Diana Ross never respected her as an artist or as a person. In interviews, Knight has been candid about her frustrations with Ross, saying, "There were times when I felt like she just didn't respect me. She had a way of making you feel like you were less than, and I wasn't going to stand for that." Knight's feelings of being slighted by Ross were echoed by others in the Motown stable, many of whom felt that Ross's ambition often came off as arrogance. Adding another layer to the drama, rumors circulated for years that both women had been romantically linked to some of the same men. Although neither woman has ever confirmed these stories, the speculation only added fuel to the fire, making their interactions even frostier. Berry Gordy himself was often rumored to be at the center of their feud. His close relationship with Diana Ross was well known, and some speculated that his favoritism toward Ross further alienated other artists at the label. including Gladys Knight, the ice finally breaks, a 37-year feud ends. For nearly 37 years, Gladys Knight and Diana Ross barely spoke. Industry events were reportedly tense, with the two women going out of their way to avoid each other. They rarely shared the same stage, and when they did, the tension was palpable. Their feud became part of the Motown legacy, a chapter in the larger story of the music industry during its golden era. However, in 2005, something changed. After decades of animosity, the two women finally buried the hatchet. In a candid interview, Gladys Knight opened up about the feud, explaining that while their rivalry had been fueled by professional competition, there were also personal issues that had never been resolved. "We were both young, ambitious, and in a very competitive environment," Knight said. "But it wasn't just about the music, there were personal things that got in the way too." Knight also expressed a level of forgiveness and understanding, acknowledging that both she and Ross had been under immense pressure throughout their careers. "I don't hold any grudges. Life is too short for that," she said, adding that she understood how the pressures of fame and success could lead people to act in ways they might not normally. A legacy of rivalry and respect. As fans continue to celebrate the music of Gladys Knight and Diana Ross, the story of their feud adds another layer to their legendary careers. It's a reminder that even the most iconic stars are human, with all the flaws, emotions, and rivalries that come with it. The feud, while unfortunate, is also a testament to the incredible drive and determination that both women possessed. Today, the feud is part of their legacy, but it doesn't overshadow the immense contributions both Gladys Knight and Diana Ross have made to the music industry. They have inspired generations of artists, and their music continues to resonate with audiences around the world. There have been rumors in recent years that the two might even perform together, a reunion that would surely be a monumental event in the music world. Whether or not that happens remains to be seen, but for now, fans can appreciate the fact that these two legends have put their differences behind them.